So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard, if you haven't seen the tweets that I've been putting out for the last couple of weeks, if you didn't see the vlog video that I did, I was in LA to play FIFA 18 at EA Play. I was very kindly invited by EA Sports, got my hands on, and it's the earliest that I've ever gotten my hands on a build of FIFA. Like, it's, what, July? No, not even June. And the game doesn't come out until late September. Never had I gotten my hands on a game that early. So what this video is going to be, everyone, is I'm going to firstly show you an interview that I did with a narrative director on the journey. He's going to talk a bit about and reveal some stuff that we have to look forward to in the journey this year. I'm also going to be talking a bit about my experience with FIFA 18 and how I think it feels, the gameplay, and my review of it so far. And then, of course, we may be making a few other predictions for what we have to look forward to in FIFA 18. But anyway, this is the interview that I did with that narrative director on the journey.
All right, everyone, I'm sitting down with Matthew Turner. He's the narrative director.
Narrative director. Creative director is my boss.
Thank you for sitting down with me, mate. First off, a couple of questions about FIFA 18. I played the game just over there and very excited. It's still early days, but I'm very excited by what we've seen so far. I've seen that there's a lot of an emphasis on improving the atmospheres in the game this year, and I just wanted to talk about, like, you know, the crowd in the game looks absolutely fantastic, and just a little few thoughts about like how that was the focus for you this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, football is the world's game, right? And everywhere you go in the world, there's a different flavor of the sport. I mean, the sport remains the same in its core because that's what makes it beautiful, but the way people approach it is very specific to where people are from. We wanted to capture that in some respect, so that's where immersive atmospheres were a big deal for us. And then on top of that, we added in authentic broadcast packages from the Liga and from MLS as well, so building out our suite even further.
Fantastic.
So that's all a whole part of our effort of kind of, you know, showing the way of the real world of football no other game can do.
On top of that as well, I wanted to talk a little bit about, now this is Ultimate Team. I know that your speciality is the journey, but still, obviously a big change this year is the fact that we are switching from legends to icons. Now, I was wondering if you knew much about the decision behind making that switch.
I actually don't know the rationale behind that switch. I do know that we're super excited about what we're going to come with in the future with pertains to icons, starting obviously with Ronaldo Nazario.
I was wondering if maybe we might see like iconic players that, again, maybe weren't legend, like top 50 ever players, but guys like, I don't know, a Joe Cole, a Robinho, a Mark Viduka, a Harry Kewell, a Mark Schwarzer, just basically any Australian player I'd really like to see included in the game. It's been how many years, man? We're getting a little bit on now. We've got to get something going.
Well, I'll have a word.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm super, super glad that the journey's back. It was by far the #1 thing that I was screaming out for. Some sort of like player career mode, some sort of story, and I got basically exactly what I wanted last year. And now that it's returning, super happy for it. I wanted to talk a little bit about, I know that you can't give too much away, we don't want to spoil the surprise, but at the same time, what does Alex Hunter have? What do we have to look forward to experiencing with Alex Hunter next year?
We have a lot to look forward to, actually. So, I mean, for us, when we're looking at the journey Hunter returns, we wanted to kind of respond to user feedback, right? You know, people like you loved it, but also had things that they would wish were a bit different or wish they could have in that same experience. We wanted to satisfy some of those requests. So one of them being was impactful choices. Some people felt that the choices they made with Alex didn't have quite the gravitas maybe they should, and didn't have the impact on the overall experience that maybe they expected. We wanted to address that, so we went out to try and create some choices that are really big time in Alex's world and affect the circle around him and himself and his trajectory, but also to kind of branch out from that and provide the players with other ways to choose around Alex. One of the main parts of that was personalization. So now you can customize Alex with pants, shoes, shirts, tattoos, hair. Also his footedness, which translates onto gameplay as well.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so really giving the ability for users to create their Alex in the way they wanted to be, outside just his personality, but also the way that he looks and the way that he plays. That was big for us. Another big feature in it, which I can't actually speak to too much, but we're just teasing a little bit, is actually there are other playable characters in the journey.
Wow.
Which is pretty exciting for us.
Very exciting.
And keep your eyes peeled and your ears open for when that comes. Yeah.
All right, world exclusive. No, I genuinely had not heard that before. No, that is very cool. That is very exciting to see. I was going to say it's something, again, like you touched on about how the decisions that we make in the game, maybe some players were a bit concerned that it didn't have the sort of repercussions that we may have expected, but do you think the decisions that we did make in FIFA 17 with Alex are going to carry over into this year's and affect the storyline for that one?
I would expect something to that effect, yes.
Okay, then.
But what I will say is that football is a global game, as we spoke before. And we want to take Alex on a global journey. So read from that what you will. But he does go on a summer holiday to Brazil, does do a preseason tour here in LA, and he might visit some other locales as well.
Nice, sounds awesome, dude. In the teaser trailers and in everything that we've seen on the journey so far, we haven't heard from Gareth Walker. How's everyone's best childhood friend turned rival going? I mean, is he still kicking about? Or?
I mean, I can't spoil, but Walker still plays in the Premier League, so...
Okay. All right then. Okay, no, that's about it then. All right then. Well, mate, I think I'm pretty much done, but I think I'll leave it with one more question. Is FIFA 18 going to be the best FIFA of all time? I mean, no big call or anything, but like...
I am biased, and I'm going to say yes.
All right then, sweet. Maybe another question. Can you put me into the journey, please?
I'll have a word.
That's a handshake, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you so much for the interview, man. I appreciate it.
Cheers, man.
So a couple of pretty interesting and pretty cool snippets from that interview, particularly for me, is the fact that we will be able to play as other players apart from Alex Hunter in the journey. That's not something that I thought we'd be getting in the journey this year, and something I didn't really even consider, but definitely something that has my interest. Obviously, last year in the journey, there were other players of note, other teammates that Alex Hunter would play with and eventually against, guys like Gareth Walker and Williams, I think was another one as well. I'm wondering, are we going to be able to play as those characters, or will the journey in FIFA 18 introduce new characters, new teammates that Alex Hunter is going to have, and maybe we can control them instead? I also asked him a question about how the decisions that we made in FIFA 17 would have ramifications on the story in FIFA 18, and his response was pretty interesting. I didn't know if he was trying to give me a response that didn't give anything away for what we have coming up for the journey, or if he was basically trying to say, not really, in like the nicest way possible. Just gauging off of his reaction, I'm not too sure if certain things that we have done in FIFA 17's The Journey are going to have too big an impact on FIFA 18. That again is another prediction. I don't know. He may be keeping something from me that I'm not aware of. And the other big question, of course, is will Alex Hunter be able to transfer to another club that is outside of the Premier League? Obviously, it's hinted that it may be a possibility from the trailer. And from the 15 minutes of the journey that we played at EA Play, I can tell you that there is a scene where he and his agent, Alex Hunter and his agent, are conversing about potential transfers. I won't talk about what ends up happening to those potential transfers, but what happens is he's basically saying that there are several clubs in for him, and some of those clubs are outside of the Premier League. So it's pretty interesting. And as a matter of fact, there's quite an emphasis on Real Madrid in that cutscene. So I don't know if it's almost scripted that you were to go to Real Madrid, but again, all predictions at this point. But anyway, enough about the journey. Let's really quickly talk about the actual gameplay of FIFA 18 and the changes that have been made from FIFA 17 to FIFA 18. First thing I can tell you is that the little transitional period between playing FIFA 17 and FIFA 18 is going to, at least I would imagine for most people, be a little bit tougher and a bit harder than it was from FIFA 16 to FIFA 17. The transition between 16 and 17 for me was nothing. I literally just jumped right into 17 and I loved it immediately. I didn't feel like there was too much to really get to. I don't know. I just really played well in FIFA 17 immediately. I picked it up after a couple of games and I felt confident. When FIFA 16 came out, totally different story. I was a couple of months in and I still didn't think I had it right. FIFA 18 feels like it won't be as challenging as 16, but it definitely won't be as easy as 17. It's definitely, the plays will definitely feel a little bit heavier. They don't feel as sharp or as rapid as they do, but I kind of feel like as FIFAs go along, they do tend to be a little bit more responsive anyway, but still, moving on. Specific things in the game like shielding, for example, have been altered and tweaked a little bit. Like, I don't think shielding is going to be as, I wouldn't exactly call it overpowered in FIFA 17, but I don't think it's going to be as good as what it is in FIFA 17. It feels like shielding is not going to work with just any old player. You're going to really need the right person for shielding to work. It's not really something that I do an awful lot, but I did try it out a couple of times in the games that I played at FIFA 18, and I don't know, I've had better results, shall we say, in FIFA 17. The dribbling's also been changed a little bit. Again, like I said, players do feel a bit heavier and a little less responsive, so I think the dribbling in-game is going to be maybe not as sharp as what it was in FIFA 17 as well. The ball control in FIFA 18 as well is very interesting too, while we're on the topic of, dribbling and ball control. There have been times where players will take a touch, and it will completely rocket off their boot. It's kind of interesting when you think about in FIFA 17, you can do a driven pass and it will just bullet straight to a player and they'll take a reasonably good touch or even an exceptional touch most times. I took a few touches in this game where I would like do a driven pass to a player. By the way, I don't think driven passes are as accurate and as good as they were in FIFA 17, but when a player was going to take a touch, on the odd occasion, it would completely just bounce off them and you would have no hope of getting the ball. You would just lose possession. It's kind of interesting because when you play FIFA 17, you don't really think about how players will just completely bottle a touch and it'll just go absolutely nowhere. It's normally pretty much on the money. You'll take a good touch and you'll keep possession. In FIFA 18, I've had on more than one occasion the ball just completely cannon off me. When it comes to things like penalties and set pieces, I didn't really take too many free kicks. As a matter of fact, I played a couple of games of FIFA 18. I think I only had one opportunity to take a free kick in the entire thing. I don't know if that speaks about FIFA 18 and I don't know if it's a little harder to maybe potentially get free kicks. I doubt that it is. I think I just only happened to get one free kick, but even then it was miles out or 30 odd something yards, and the free kick mechanic seems to be the same. Penalties though is a little bit different. It's not like they've reverted back to FIFA 16 or 15 or something like that, but they are different in the way that I think you have to charge up your shot first before you actually can, like obviously before it was you run up, you start your run up and then you start charging up your shot. You actually have to charge up your shot first, then you get to pick where you want to go. And from what I can tell, it's not like the opponent can tell, or at least I know it was split screen, but I don't imagine that if this was online, your opponent's going to be able to tell how much you're shooting. I don't really think there's been too many changes apart from that to penalties. Now, just moving away from gameplay for a second to talk about how FIFA 18 looks and how it feels. What I will say before is that every now and again, a new FIFA will come out and it just looks and feels completely different to the FIFA that came before it. My best example of this may be FIFA 10 to FIFA 11. But this is not really that situation. FIFA 18 is still in the Frostbite engine. It still looks and feels quite a fair bit like FIFA 17, but you can tell with 18, they've really refined it and they've really added a lot to it as well. Like the atmospheres and the crowds in the game look sensational. I think the best way for me to describe it at this point, and this is again, just being honest, and again, still 3 months left to go, it could be a completely different game, but it looks like a really refined version of FIFA 17 with a lot more added to it, the enhancements to the environment, to the atmosphere, and slight animation tweaks as well. Nothing too crazy once again, and slight improvements and changes to gameplay as well. That's really how I would best describe it. You're not walking into a brand new game that you're unfamiliar with, but it still looks solid. I don't know if there are going to be any other icons included, any new ones that are going to be revealed. I don't know, out of all the legends that are in FIFA 17, how many of them are going to be converted to icons either. It's a little bit interesting. It's almost a bit confusing, to be honest, because they announced new icons, guys like, of course, Henry, Maradona, Yashin, and Ronaldo, 4 legends that we've never had before, but they'll introduce Pele. How exactly does that work if Pele was already a legend? I don't know. I'm a little bit confused with that. I've kind of done my research. I think we're still a little bit in the dark with what exactly is happening. Maybe that's just more that we're going to have to find out soon, but that's something I'm keeping my eye on as well. But until next one, guys, my name is MasterBucks. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good one.